Hello, hi everyone. Welcome to the second session of the beautiful light energy course, and I'm so glad that you are joining me today. This session, I am so happy to do this session. I was feeling a little under the weather today, but I said to myself, this session, this lesson is so important and I can't miss out on it. I have to just go ahead and say what's on my heart. So I'm here, I'm fighting through this flu to give you all this lesson. So let's go. Let's get started. The name of this lesson is called Daughter of the Waves. That is a poem, another poem that is the second poem affirmation of this course. And it is a beautiful poem. I can't wait to read it to you. But first, let's get into our lesson. Well, see here, I got my journal here to teach my lesson, and I am ready. So, the first thing I want to talk about and what I wrote down is a sermon that was preached by the Reverend Ike. And he was a very powerful, wonderful man of God. He was a spiritual leader and he basically taught prosperity, kind of religious prosperity in a sense. I think that's what it's called. Don't quote me on that. Or prosperity theology or something like that, I think it's called. But basically, he taught you that you are supposed to be rich in this life, not poor, and that poor was a curse in a sense, whereas prosperity was a blessing, and you should always love money and have a good relationship with money. So that's basically what Reverend Ike taught, but he also taught you how to understand your mind and how to tap into your mind power. And that's why I love the teachings of Reverend Ike. He was a true he was truly a spiritual man on so many levels, and may he rest in power because he was just so amazing. You ought to look at all of his teachings on YouTube, on his legacy channel. It's amazing. I will link a video in the description of this video because this is going to be on YouTube as an unlisted video because it's my course, a part of my course. So in the description below, you'll be able to find that link that I'm going to link to his sermon because it's so powerful. The name of the sermon is Becoming God to Change Your Circumstances. And basically, in this sermon, Reverend Ike talked about how you should become the God to your problems. And you are, because God is within you. God made us in his own image, the universe did, which is God. So if you become from a God, that means you are. So part of God is in you already. So in order to defeat, if you're trying to defeat your problems, the best way to do that is to become the God to your problems. And he was so right when he said that. And I just wanted to also talk about how when things are not going so well for you in life, like things just start to like bad things start to happen, you're not able to get things done, or there's like some circumstances that may arrive, and you're always saying, like, why is this happening to me? Like, why is this going on? Don't ask why that is happening to you, because I want you to know that if bad things are starting to happen, in your opinion, you're you are accepting them to be bad. And let's say okay, so let's use this as an example so you can understand, because I don't want to get people confused. Like, say for instance, you lose your car. Let's say you had a car and maybe it was repossessed, or maybe you wrecked it or whatever, and you lost your car. That car was taken from you. So excuse me, I cannot be getting sick, honey. I'm fighting through it. So what if let's say you, the car was terrible. Let's say you didn't need that car from the begin with. It was old, it was raggedy. You had it for many years and it just wasn't good. So what if the God in you wanted a new car unconsciously and you knew you wanted a new car but you didn't think you could have one. So the energy God took that car away from you so you could have a new one. And so you got to look at it like that. You can't look at things so negatively. No, always know that if something is being taken away from you, if bad things are starting to happen, this is the universe, which is God. God is preparing you for something much bigger, much, greater. Me, for example, when I was in the situation with my daughter's father, he was very abusive. Like I said before in the last session, I everything was taken away from me. I lost the place that I was living in with him, because the place was his house. It was in his name. So, well, the trailer was in his name and I didn't have any rights to it. So when he threw me out of the home along with our daughter, he didn't care. He was just that evil. I had nowhere to go. So I had to stay with a family friend of mine who was kind enough to give us somewhere to stay until we were able to find the place that we're in now, and I got some help from them with that, the family friend. So we didn't have anywhere to go. We had nothing in a sense, you know, and that I say that to say that I'm glad that happened because had that not happened, I wouldn't be in the place that I'm at now. I'm in such a good space now. God has prepared me. Like the universe has given me so much. This apartment, it may be small, it may be little, it may not be all of that, what people think it should be, but it's a nice place. And I'm so glad that I was able to get into this place like I did. And I was so glad that I got a home and somewhere to lay my daughter and somewhere like a roof over my head and somewhere to rest because a lot of people don't have this. I'm very grateful. So that's all it is to it. Um, God is preparing you for something. God was preparing me. Like at the time, I was so in a low vibrational state. I was so sad and I was so upset about everything that was happening around me. It was just so upsetting. And I would cry every day. And the lady that I was staying with, the family friend, like she saw me, like I would just bawl every day. And she would say, you're still blessed. And she was right. I was blessed. I still was blessed because bigger things and bigger and greater things were coming. And I just didn't realize it. I couldn't see that an apartment was coming. You know what I mean? I couldn't see that I was going to start to love myself and realize the light that was in and realize that I had been giving myself away for free to this man who was abusing me. And I was giving him my energy that he did not deserve. I realize that now. Getting this place, getting the space to myself and living on my own, having my own house and having my own apartment and car has been amazing. I feel so liberated. And that's what God prepared me for. And He's preparing me for more because 2024 is going to be an amazing year. And you're probably watching this in 2024. So that's what I have to say about that. That's God is preparing you. So don't look at it as a negative experience. Try to figure out, okay, why did God take this away from me? Maybe He wants me to have more. What is He coming, with next? And don't ask why is this happening to me. Ask yourself, say, why are good things happening to me? Why is God giving me all of this money? Why am I so prosperous? Why am I so abundant? Why do I have so much money? Why am I so rich? That's what you should be asking yourself. For real, for real. So think about that whenever you are experiencing issues or problems in your life. So that's another thing I want to. I also want to talk about how water, because this is a really a course or a this is really a lesson about water and its frequency and why water is so healing. Let's talk about um a spiritual bath. So I know I know you're probably saying like, well, what does this have to do with your problems and your problems in life? This has a lot to do with it because you need to cleanse your energy in order to get rid of your problems, if that makes sense. So in order to make way for new things and new beginnings, clean your space. So that's what I mean. And that's what I'm talking about when I say that. So, what is a spiritual bath? Well, let's look at what that is. So, I'm going to do a quick screen share. And if it's working, to kind of like show you what's because the I love the definition of words and what they mean. And I love to kind of like share what words mean because sharing what words mean really help you understand the message behind a lecture or a lesson. So I'm just pointing that out. So a spiritual bath, here's um a short little definition of what a spiritual bath is. Unlike a regular bath with soap, shampoo, and water that cleanse the body, a spiritual bath works to cleanse the mind and spirit using powerful ingredients that charge the bath water with healing vibrations that help you remove blockages, which are energetic blockages. We'll get to that. Hurts, pains, and situations that are no longer serving you in any constructive way. So that's what that is. And that is a beautiful, beautiful definition. I love that definition of it. That's really what it is. So get into a spiritual bath. A spiritual bath is like a baptism in a sense. It really is because you're washing away, like they say in the religion of Christianity. I'm sorry, my voice is messing up, but you know what religion I'm talking about. You partake, or you partake in what is called a baptism for those who do not know. And this baptism is when you go into a pool of water and they put you down, dip you down into the water, and then you come up and your sins are supposed to be washed away. You're supposed to be free of everything and you're supposed to be born again. You're supposed to be a born again Christian and you're saved and all that kind of stuff. So that's basically the story behind that. I've been a Christian before, so I know a lot about that topic. So now I'm no longer in religion. I'm a spiritualist now, but that's the Christian way of it. But other cultures and other religions have their own forms of this type of spiritual cleansing bath. And that's what I'm saying. You can do your own spiritual bath. A spiritual bath just cleanses everything off of you. You can do this with sea salt. Salt is very powerful. It cleanses a lot of negative energy off of you. And it's especially good to do this around the new year because you want to come into the new year, which is right now. It's the 28th today that I'm recording this. And before the new year gets here, it's really good to do a spiritual bath because you want good energy all year long. And so that's why they tell you to do a spiritual bath before the new year or on New Year's Day, is what I believe the saying is. But it's really good. It's, as a spiritualist, I live by this. I've done spiritual baths before, and it's been really well for me every year. It's done really good for me. Blessings have come into my life by doing spiritual baths. It's just a wonderful thing to do. Like I said, there's a number of things you can put in. You can research, do your own little research about spiritual baths. But I know what I like to do is I like to take sea salt, pour a little sea salt in my bath. You could put lavender in your bath, honey. I've done that before. Milk. Milk cleanses your skin, and it stops your skin from aging. That's another thing about milk. Milk is a really good thing to use and makes your skin very soft. And then you can put tea tree oil inside your bath to get rid of pain, and it's very relaxing. And like I said, it's very soothing. It soothes your soul, soothes your energy, and replaces everything with good energy. So try using that type of ingredients if you don't really know where to start with your spiritual baths. Try using that sort of ingredients. A lot of people use Florida water, but I'm not familiar with it as much. I don't know a lot of information on that, but I know people use it. I've heard that said before. That was said to me once before, or I saw it on a video somewhere. I can't remember. But that's what you can do. Spiritual baths are really good. Cleanse, you need this to cleanse the negative energy off of you. So that's what I wanted to talk about spiritual baths. And I wanted to talk about a dream that I had called my it was my shower dream is what I call it. And this was a very interesting dream. I wish I had my journal here that I recorded all my dreams in. And it's here, but right now I cannot necessarily get to it. I don't know where I put it necessarily on the shelf, but I will do another lesson as maybe like a part two to this video, because this video might be a little long. I'm gonna be honest with you. This lesson, I will do a part two, and I will read you the entire dream that was in my book, because it was a quite an amazing dream. But I want to basically get you a gist of it, just give you like a short snippet of it, or what I dreamed, because from my memory, because I don't know everything that was in the dream because it was written down. Can't remember everything, but when I woke up, I wrote it down in my journal. But anyway, I had this dream that I was in the shower, and I was washing my body. I was cleaning my body, and I was just washing my body, and I felt so good in this dream. And it wasn't necessarily because I was getting clean. Like, I love to clean my body. Like, I'm really big with hygiene in terms of like, I like brushing my teeth and all of that kind of stuff, regular hygiene, but I love taking baths. It's like one of my favorite things to do. And I like baths more than showers, but it was something particular about this shower. And I just felt so good when I was, washing. I felt like I was washing things away when I was taking the shower in the dream. And there was this white shower curtain um all around in this rod. It was a white shower curtain that was around me. And I opened the shower curtain after I got through taking the shower, I believe that's how I went, the dream. And I could see like a TV in the bathroom. And I was like, why is there a TV in the bathroom? That's so weird. And I can't remember who was on the TV. It was somebody on the TV. I think it was me. And I was having so much fun doing something on the TV. So it was like two of me in the dream. It was weird. Or there was a dream person or a dream character. And I realized that this was my childhood home that I was in, that I was taking the shower in. And it was so weird because my childhood home burned years ago. It burned down years ago. We had a house fire, we had to move away and all that kind of stuff. And I just thought it was so interesting why, how I had that. And I really wanted to, why I was taking the shower in my childhood home. It was so weird. And when I woke up from the dream, I was just so puzzled. Didn't know what it meant. And then I kind of like put two and two together. I said, does the white shower, because they tell you to write everything down when you wake up from a dream. And I thought to myself, does the white shower curtain pertain to the meaning of the dream. Like, does that mean purity? Does that mean I'm washing away things that no longer serve me in life and I'm replacing them with good energy and I'm becoming pure? I'm becoming my own form of purity. Ooh, I love the way I said that. Oh my God, don't you guys love the way I said that? Comment and tell me if you love the way I love this. I said, if you can comment on an unlisted video, I'm not sure if you can do that, but or I'll find a way for you all to send me comments and messages about this course. Anyway, I I just love how I said that. I felt like I was being cleansed and purified of all the negative energy that was on me and everything that was going on in my life. And I had this dream around the time I was with my abusive ex. And I feel like the dream was warning me, forewarning me, and well, not warning me, but it was telling me that what was to come, which was good things, like good things were coming, and I needed to get prepared for them and be ready for them when they come. And I think ultimately that's what it was telling me, and I know that now. Guys, please excuse my voice. It's so this is not my voice. It's I have a I'm dealing with the flu, so just excuse my voice. But anyway, I feel like that's what the dream meant. I will do a separate video on that. Anyway, I said all that to say that water is so cleansing. It is so purifying. Water even gives you inspiration to do things. It is even said that when you drink water, you are more creative, your mind works better because like I said, we are made up of a lot of water. I think we're like made up, humans are made up like 70%. I think the brain is like 70% water, something like that. Like our bodies are made of literally water. So when we drink a lot of water, like we're feeding our soul, we're feeding our spirit, and our mind is becoming intelligent. We're able to think better when we drink water. That's why before I would take a test when I was in school, I used to go to Copiah Lincoln College, and I also attended Southern New Hampshire University, which I graduated from this year. Congratulations to me. Whenever I would take a test, I would always drink water because my mind would be in a better state. I would think better, and I was able to pass all of my tests by doing that. So I would always drink water. I would. It really works. So I want to, before I go on with this lesson, I want to go ahead and read the poem that I have for today. So let's get excited for that. I'm about to read it. The name of this poem is called, again, I'm going to tell you the name. The name of the poem is called Daughter of the Waves. Here it goes. I am Galia, daughter of the waves. Father suffered during my birth. I was born from his sorrowful cries. Then I formed and crystallized. My spirit rode the boat of my crystal body through the waterfall of his tears. It was as though hope had appeared and manifested in the flesh. A miracle I was and still am. A cycle of life, a cycle of happiness, a cycle of destruction. I am Galia, daughter of the waves. I lay there, dormant inside my craters, waiting to move swiftly downward from those windows, the eyes. I am the daughter of waves that flow evenly through streams of tears, streams of fearful, sorrowful cries. I am a complacent tide of the ocean. That's right. I rise and I fall. My moon and sun love me. The sunset of stars caress me with their shining power at night. In the beauty of the darkness, I am the blanket that covers part of the earth's mind, of the earth's mind. I am the liquid that dwells within me. I am Galia, daughter of the waves. My waves of life flow through you. Great grandma saves and drinks my rainwater too. Rainwater, my divine droplets from the sky. Skylar. But why was great grandma collecting these iridescent crystals from the sky's eye? Her and great grandpa would take an iron bucket, a rain bucket, and leave it somewhere outside and let the rain do its thing. They drink this water unfiltered and wouldn't even get sick. I am the sacred entity that nourished their bodies. I am the spiritual bath. My riveting properties, my riveting properties can restore positive energy, smooth vibrations. I am the tablespoon of honey, 1 cup of sea salt, yellow, purple, rose petals, floating above, rubbed against wet brown skin, swimming beneath the soles of your feet, near your tailbone and anus cheeks. I am the anointing water that speaks to your body and spirit. This event reminds me of your baptism. I can see you now, box braids hanging down from the crown, standing before the pool of my body, your cleansing bed, ready to give your life to Christ, dipped all in white, about to be reborn, dipped in white roses, drenched in black roses. I am the daughter of the wade and the waves. Ah, thank you so much for listening to that. Well, I'm so glad. I hope you enjoyed that poem. I love that poem. That is one of my daughter daughter of the waves is one of my favorite poems of the book. And I have more, but that's yet to come. You got to wait for it. Wait for the rest of the sessions of this course, and you have to wait for the book that's coming out next year in 2024. But then again, you might be watching this around the time the book has come out. So go get the book if it's out by the time you see this, or be waiting for the book if you bought the course ahead of time. So anyway, I love that poem. And I was writing that poem. I'm gonna tell you how I started writing that poem. It was such a beautiful process how I wrote that poem. There is a author or a poet, well, he's a poet by the name of Dean Atta. And he is an amazing poet. He's a wonderful poet. He wrote a book called The Black Flamingo. He's written several other books before that and after that, but Black Flamingo is like one of his most popular. It's a verse novel. He usually writes verse novels. I don't even believe that he's written anything that was prose per se, but he's an excellent poet. And he did a free workshop, a free poetry workshop online, and it was uploaded to YouTube. And I decided to see what was it all about. And so basically he was teaching people how to write poems in kind of like a free verse way, you know, how to write free verse poems. That's basically what he was teaching in this workshop, this poetry workshop that he had. And it was amazing. He was giving us so many exercises to do and how to kind of relax in order to be creative and kind of get into your creative space. And so basically, he gave us a prompt to go by and he timed us. Uh, you know, he timed our free writing sessions. And I believe each free writing sessions had to be like 15 to 30 minutes, I believe they were. And basically, the prompt was if I was like water or something like that. And I don't want to lie, but I think the prompt was from my memory if I was like water. And basically, he wanted us to think about all of the memories that we had of water. And I was like, oh my God, that is so smart. That is such an amazing poetry prompt. I can come up with so many things in my head that relate to water. That is so beautiful. That's what I remember thinking when I was looking at this video. And I was like, this is so cool. I'm going to do this. And so I did. So he told us to free write within those times and then stop when the timer stops. And I did. I paused the video whenever the timer stopped, and then I listened to what he had to say. And after the poem was written in free writing, this was like a really rough draft of the poem. He said that you have all this material. You've written all of this through each session. So basically, you can rewrite it and turn it into a whole entire poem, this material that you have written, this free writing, or you could turn this into three separate poems about water. And I thought that was so amazing. And I decided to write about three different memories of water within my poem and make it one entire poem instead of making it three different poems like he suggested. And it just turned out so well. I thought of so many things, like the middle part where I was talking about my great grandmother and my great grandfather. I was told when I was a child, that was a memory that I had, that my great grandmother used to drink rainwater, and she never got sick from drinking this water, even though it may have had some impurities in it. You know, according to what my grandmother said, they would drink this water and wouldn't even get sick. And I thought that was so interesting. I was like, well, why don't I pretend like I'm a goddess and my name is Galia? And Galia, by the way, is such a beautiful name. It is Hebrew and it means God's wave. I think that's what it means. Don't quote me on that, but I believe I hold on, I can look it up right quick. Hold on just for a second. Galia means wave of God. And I thought it was such a beautiful name, a perfect name for the character of my book. Because at first it was going to be a verse novel, but I realized this is kind of sort of like an alter ego. And I will be doing that, talking about that in a later session. That is going to be so exciting. I can't wait to talk about alter egos and how you can use that to create your dream life and your dream self. But yes, I thought that this was a perfect character. And I imagined myself as this wave goddess, and my name was Galia. And I was the water that nourished my great grandmother and great grandpa's bodies. And that's why they didn't get sick. And, just playing with that memory and, going along with that character and that alter ego. And I kind of thought about another memory that I had, which was being in church and being baptized for the first time when I was about 8 years old, and how I willingly went up there. My brothers were running; they didn't want to get baptized; they were scared of the water, and I wasn't. I was so brave, and I was so ready at that time, and I was just so excited at that time to give my life to Christ, and that's what I believed in at that time. And I just went into the water and I said, I'm ready to be reborn again. And they did me, and I came up, and I remember at that time my mom had my hair in braids, and my hair was so pretty. I had the prettiest braids in my hair. And I believe they were like a light, it was kind of like that brown color mixed with that light blonde. It was so pretty. It was beautiful braids. And I got baptized that day, and I thought about that memory and I added it to the poem. And it just turned out to be such a beautiful poem. I love that poem. And it shows you, I said all that to say that that's what you have to do. It's talking about all these different things. I also put in there about the spiritual bath where I talk about I'm the salt in the bath and I'm the rose petals, mixed in. I'm the water that's floating with these rose petals. And, you know, um, I talk about the spiritual bath in that poem as well. And as well as the baptism and the rainwater. So I talk about all these different memories that I have and of water and how it's so important. And I'm talking about cleansing myself and getting rid of negative energy essentially in this poem and replacing it with good energy. And that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do to get rid of your problems. Become Galia. Become the daughter of the waves. Wash away your problems. Get rid of that negative energy that's causing you to have those problems. You know, tap into your mind power and seek the God within and listen to yourself. And you will hear yourself clearly. You will hear the God within clearly if you tap into your intuition. That's what I was talking about in lesson 1. And now in lesson 2, cleanse yourself spiritually and things will be so clear. Because when you are blocked energetically, you can't hear anything. You're not going to be able to tap into or hear the God within. We all know how important it is to observe the things that's going on within, outside of you. But it's just important to observe the things that are going on inside of you. Okay, yes. I love this lesson already. This is amazing. Yes, observe the things that's going on inside of you, because that is important as well, not just the things that are going on around you, but the things that are going on inside of you. Tap into your God power, listen to the God within. And prayer is a good way to do that too. Prayer is not only just for the religious. Prayer is for the spiritual as well, for the spiritual people. I'm spiritual and I do still pray. It's a great way to talk to it's a great way to talk to the God within. Listen to this lesson, and I want you to listen to that sermon by Reverend Ike. It's a wonderful sermon and wonderful video that I would love for you to watch. It extends this lesson, so watch that video. It's wonderful. So let's go on to the next point that I'm making. So let's talk about portals, spiritual portals, magical portals, you know, and this is for the spiritual. So if you don't believe in spirituality or God, this probably won't work for you. But if you do believe and you believe in a higher source and you believe in God, you know that portals are real. And what I mean by a portal is it's kind of like quantum leaping into another universe or into another land that is different from your own, another reality that you are experiencing that's different from this one. And I remember years ago, I watched this video, and I think this YouTuber's name is something different now, her last name, because she married and now she has a different last name. But her name was Sparkle Marie, and she was very popular. She's a very popular YouTuber on YouTube, and she used to make these different spiritual videos where she would talk about quantum leaping. And in this video, she talked about manifesting and how you can change your life by using the power of water. And so basically in this video, she had a candle and then she had like this bowl of water and she lit this candle and I think the she had two bowls of water, I believe. And in one bowl of water, it was supposed to say something like the old reality, and then the new bowl of water was supposed to say the new reality. And the she said in the video that you are supposed to take the old bowl that says old reality and talk about all of your, when you touch the bowl, think about all your fears and your problems and the worries that you have in this old reality and let them go, let them fall into the old bowl, the glass container of water that's filled with the old that says old reality. That's what you do when you touch it and you put your energy on it and you let everything that's bothering you about the old reality go into it. And then when you touch the new reality bowl, you put in all of your hopes, desires, and your dreams that you want in the new reality. And that's really who you want to be in the reality. And so after that, you kind of like, I can't remember how the rest of the video went, but I'm thinking that you believe in this new reality and then you light the candle and then it burns and then that's the end of the ritual or the spiritual routine that you do with that. And after that, your reality is you post to already, like, once that's finished, once that routine is finished, you have now jumped into the new reality and you are no longer in the old reality. That's kind of like how it was going in that video. But anyway, it was a really good video and it kind of like stayed with me. And I said, wow, that's amazing. Like how we can use water to kind of like change our minds. Because like I said, we're made up of a lot of water. Um, and let's look that up too. I want to look that up because on my in this course, I want to be truthful with you all. I want to give you all facts and I want to, you know, share with you these things. And here's the definition of Galia. See how beautiful that is? The wave of God. Beautiful, beautiful name. I still had it up here. But let's look that up. Let's set that up. If it won't stop, if it stops loading. Okay. So let's look that up. So let's say how much water makes up the human body. We'll have her answer in a few minutes. Okay, 60%, which is awesome. I was close. I said 70. Well, let's read here. This is the United States Geological Survey.gov is where this survey comes from. It says up to 60% of the human adult body is water. Amazing. According to Mitchell and others, in 1945. So they knew this study ahead of time, that many years ago. Wow. The brain and heart are composed of 73% water, and the lungs are about 83% water. Wow. That is insane. It's amazing how much water we are made of. And my goodness, the brain and the heart. So if your brain and your heart is made up, look at this. Look at it. It says it is composed of 73% of water. So if that's true, we need to be drinking a whole lot of water. And that's why I say it's really good to drink at least 8 bottles a day. to cleanse out your system and make sure that brain is working properly. So this is why I was doing so well on those tests because I was drinking a lot of water. And also water helps really well with weight loss and nutrition. And that's another thing I might want to do a course on in the future if you all are interested in learning about nutrition and how I lost a lot of weight. Um, that's something that I will be talking about, you know, possibly in a future course. Water really helps you lose a lot of weight. I drank a lot of water and it really helped with my weight loss. So, water is key. So, I wouldn't be surprised if it could help you quantum leap into another reality or another portal, or it could help you mentally, spiritually, physically get rid of energetic blockages in your life. That's not too far fetched, in my opinion, because I am a spiritual individual. I'm a spiritual woman, and I stand by that. So, I just wanted to show you all that because, like I said, I believe in giving individuals facts on this in this lesson and in this course. I don't want you to be thinking I'm lying to you or anything like that. I speak from my own experience, and I also speak off of facts as well. So, let's get into my next point. Um, about portals. When I was a child, and this is a thing from my childhood, I was very imaginative. Imagine imaginative. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Like I said, I'm coming out with a cold, you all, so pray for me. I had a huge imagination. I was so lively. I was so creative. I loved painting. I loved drawing, and I still do today because the book that's coming out, that's the ebook to this course, it's going to have so many beautiful pictures in it that I'm drawing. I'm drawing the pictures for it now, and it's just going to be so amazing. Um, I loved to do that when I was a little girl, and I loved to draw, and I loved to write all these different beautiful stories. And my mom would keep them in this file cabinet that she bought for me. It was like this pink file cabinet. It was like a purse file cabinet. I hope you all know what I mean. It's like, they still have them. Those like those it was like it had a handle on it and it had a lot of files in it. And she would put all my pictures and my drawings and um excuse me. She would put all my pictures and my drawings and my stories in that file in that pink file cabinet. It was so cool. And I was like, all of my work is in here. And one of the stories that was in it was the story that I had wrote when I was a little girl. And it was about this mermaid and this girl. It was about this girl who was very imaginative like I am, and she had a huge imagination. And she would always wonder about the pool that was in her backyard. And one day she jumped in the pool and she went down under. I can't remember how to go. I wonder. I'm trying to figure out did she, because it's been so long since I read that story. I wrote that story when I was a little girl. You know, how imaginative was I? So anyway, the little girl was very creative. She had a vivid imagination like I did. And of course, I was kind of like writing about myself in a sense, but I'm trying to remember if she was a princess and one day she started swimming inside of a lake or a river and went down and then came up, or it was a pool. I can't remember, but it was either or. And either or, she went into some water, went down into the water, and then when she came up, she was in another reality. And in this reality, there was mermaids and kings and queens and birds who were royalty. It was such an interesting story. And she was trying to figure out how to get back home because she had went into this different portal. And so I said all that to say that can happen. You know, you can go into a whole nother reality of your life. You don't have to stay in your old reality. You can change your situation just like this by tapping into the God that's within you, by realizing who you are inside, by realizing that you have a enormous light in you, within you. There is a light that's in you. There is a steady, sturdy walking fire within you. You are the fire. That is another lesson that's coming up. So you are the fire, and you just need, you are that fire. You are the fire within you. You are that wave goddess. You are the God to your problems. You don't have to be confined by someone else's rules or someone else's beliefs or belief systems. You can go by the beat of your own drum and tap into your own beauty and your own reality of life and tap into or jump into another portal of reality. Like I said, from one reality to another reality. It's up to you. And you can only do that if you learn how, like I said, how to tap into it. You have to know that you are special, that you were made special. You are a special human being. And always remember that you are not, don't look at yourself as nothing. I hear people tell themselves, I heard somebody, I was watching this show one time on TLC. It was like a fashion show, and they used to like give people makeovers on the show. And I used to watch it all the time because I used to love watching stuff like that as a child. Whenever I would get off, whenever I was done with my homeschooling work, I was homeschooled, by the way. Um, Whenever I was done with my assignments, I would excuse me, getting a little stopped up here. Whenever I was done with my assignments, I would watch that show, and they had this one lady on there. Her friends surprised her with a makeover, and she was so happy. She was like, "Oh my God, y'all guys are giving me a makeover," and they put her, the people on the show, they were professionals. They had worked in the industry for a long time. They had styled a lot of celebrities, and they styled her. And then they took her out on this premiere event at this movie, and she felt so amazing. She felt like a movie star. And she said that she was a nobody, and she said that she felt so amazing because she didn't think that she deserved to be where she was or deserved the makeover because she felt like she was a nobody. And I was like, oh my God. Like, and even the people that did her makeover were looking at her. I'm sorry, you guys. Hold on. Sorry, you guys. Hold on just a second. The lighting is gonna come back up. Yeah, so even the people that were even the people that had styled her and had done her makeup, they were even telling her, no, you're not a nobody, you're somebody, and she just seemed to me to be, looking back on it now, um I see that episode differently from that show, because I see now that she was a very low vibrational individual. She had a very low vibration. If she believed, I mean vibration, if she believed that she was a nobody, because you are somebody. We all are someone. We, like I said, we all have a God within us. We all are spiritual. We all have our own gifts. We all have talents, and we all are special in our own right. So, like I said, it's important to know that. And I feel like, looking at that example in that episode of that show, maybe that's why she had didn't have didn't pay too much, you know, didn't pay too much attention to her appearance because she was in a low vibrational state. And not to say everything is about appearances or everything is about being superficial. That's not what I'm saying. But when you put yourself together and maybe put on a little makeup or, get dressed up in your own fancy clothes that you love and that you love wearing and that you feel so good about, your mood change. Your mood changes. I know now mine does because like my mentor was telling me, she was like, get up every day, dress yourself, brush your teeth, and take care of your hygiene necessities. You always want to have good hygiene and take care of your teeth and your skin, but get that done and maybe put on a little makeup or or if you don't like as much makeup, do a natural look or something like that and just get ready for the day, even if you're not going anywhere, because it makes you feel so good. Wear your favorite dress, wear your favorite suit, wear your favorite dress suit, so you can feel good. It makes you feel wonderful. And this lady in this episode just was not doing that. And I feel like that's why her friend said, she needs a makeover. She needs to realize that she is somebody. And I feel like we need to start doing that. Realize that you are somebody. Realize that there is a God in you. Realize that there is a special, beautiful light that's shining through. And it may be dimmed because you won't accept it or you won't embrace it. You have been possibly done so badly in life that somebody else possibly has dimmed it for you, or you have let others or certain individuals dim your light when it doesn't have to be dimmed. It could shine so bright um in your life, and it could touch others who come in contact with you. Now that I have been embracing my own light, my own light spirit, I have been getting, I don't know, I'm on a different level. I'm on a different energy level, and people have just become so enamored with me in a sense. Like I was telling my mentor last week here, I believe it was, that, my energy just is so bright that men open the door for me now. Not to say they weren't doing that before. Like I've had men do that for me before, but it happened so often. It's been happening so often recently. Like a man, he put air in my tire one time, and I tried to pay him and he wouldn't accept the money. He was like, "No, have a blessed day. I just wanted to help you." He put tire in all four of my tires. He put air in all four of my tires, and I was just so grateful. Um, Another man opened the door for me when I went to the gas station the other day, and my father paid to get my window fixed. My window had been down for a long time and it was broken, and he paid to have it fixed. My father has never done that before. We've had a sort of a strained relationship. Don't have really the best relationship with family. Uh, and it just was so nice of him to offer that for me and have that fixed for me. I'm appreciative of it. But those kind of things have been happening, good things like that. And I believe it's because of the energy that I'm putting out into the world and putting out into my atmosphere. So just change your energy or cleanse your body of negative energy and tap into your mind power and become the God to your problems. That's what you do. And it will work. It will work. And it's so amazing when that happens. And I kind of want to talk about portals too. Like with my mentor, I purchased her course, and it was just life changing. I had never bought a business course before, let alone a spiritual business course is what I call it. Uh, Basically, within the course, she teaches us a lot about money and energy and all that kind of sort of and all those sort of things. And it was just life changing for me for that course. But it's also the price of it was life changing. I had never spent that amount of money on a course before. And it was pretty pricey. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to take a chance. And at that time, she had the course on a sale for the holidays, for Thanksgiving for this year. And I said to myself, you know what? It is on sale, but it was still sort of pricey, to people like me at that time. I was associating myself with lack at that period. I was getting better though with my spiritual experiences. In that case, I was kind of getting rid of my limiting beliefs at that time. And I was reading a book. I'm gonna show you all the book. I was reading this book when I purchased her course. This is a book. I'll put it in the description box below too. I'll put this book below. But this is a book. This is the full collection of Florence Scovel Sheen's work. And she was amazing spiritualist, spiritual teacher as well. She was an amazing spiritual teacher. And she taught about manifestation and spirituality. And in one of the chapters in the first book, which is called The Game of Life and How to Play It, there is a chapter in that book that is called The Power of Non-Resistance. And the day before I believe it was the day before. The day before I purchased the course, I think I had read that chapter, or it was the day, or it was the day that I bought the course. I read that chapter and it was talking about the power of non-resistance and how you are supposed to let go and really let God do the work, or the universe do the work. And one of the things I love about this book is it's not really based on any type of religion. You can be any religion, or you don't have to have religion and read this book. It's an amazing, all of her works. It's all four of her books. It's all four of her books in one book. So it's a full collection. But you could be any religion or have any spiritual background and read this book and feel empowered and feel amazing after reading it. But that chapter changed me. And basically, she was saying that if you let go, amazing things will happen. I was thinking about this course ever since she had launched that course. And I was saying to myself, oh, I want that course so bad. I want to learn how to grow my business. I want to learn how to be an amazing person. I want to learn how to be an amazing course creator. And I just want to do it. There's so many things I want to do in my life. I need that course. And for some reason, I hesitated on it. I wouldn't do it. And I was so scared to buy it until that day. I looked at one of my mentors' YouTube videos, and she was talking about it, and she said she had it for sale. And then I read this chapter about non-resistance, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to be resistant anymore. I'm going to become non-resistant, and I'm going to buy this course. And the next day I bought it, and it changed my life. I wouldn't be doing this course right now if it wasn't for the chapter that's in this book, which is called The Power of Non-Resistance. And so that's another thing. We have to be non-resistant when it comes to our problems in life. We can't, when things happen, we can't just cry about them. We need to do something about them and not make excuses, because we have the power to prevent them, and we have the power to stop them, and we have the power to fix our lives for the better. So we can't let things like that stop us. No. Mm-mm. Can't do that. So here is a prompt that I have, and it's so interesting because my mentor, and I swear to God, I did not copy off her. My mentor did a similar, not necessarily a similar prompt, but a similar thing where she talked about the mass. And I swear to you, I wrote this and I didn't even see that video before. But here it is. Here's a prompt. What are some milestones you've made this year? How did you strip away the mask, the old identity that wasn't serving you in order to complete these milestones? So think about that. That's a really good prompt. Like, how did you strip away that mask? That old identity, that identity that was getting to you, that was stopping you from achieving your goals in the past. So, how did you strip away that old identity in order to form or create the new identity in order to achieve these milestones that you made this year? That is a beautiful prompt. Also, I have another prompt, and it says, what would you, and this is my favorite one, other than the one I just read. What would you wash away from your life if you were water? Oh, that's a good one. I would love to hear you all's answers if you don't mind sharing them. I'm not forcing you to. You don't have to share um you don't have to share it if you don't want to. I want to respect your privacy. But you can. I would love to hear what you have to say. You can email me that. I'll leave my email in the description box below. So if you all have, that's what I meant to say earlier. If you all have any comments that you have about the course or any questions or concerns about the course, just email me through my email, which is info@zarilovedulacare.com. And it'll be in the description box below. And I would love to hear what you have to say about the course and how you felt about this lesson. So do that for me. But yeah, that's a wonderful prompt. What would you wash away from your life if you were water? And that's an amazing thing because I'll tell you why that is an amazing thing, because it's like you're cleansing things out of your life. Like, what would you cleanse out of your life? Like, what would you get rid of? What limiting beliefs would you get rid of? What bad traits would you get rid of? Like I was talking about in the first lesson, which was the mother wound lesson. What would you get rid of completely? If you were water? Because like even with the things, I remember I was at church when I was religious. um I was at this church and we were fellowshipping, and we were doing like a fellowship at this church, and we I listened to what the pastor had said. They had a couple of people in the church that had um experienced a hurricane in Baton Rouge that time in Louisiana. And the pastor was saying something that was very interesting to me. And he was saying that the hurricane destroyed you all's homes, and it destroyed your houses. It got rid of your clothes and everything that you had that was nice. And you think that it's all over, but it's not. And I was like, wow. And he was saying that basically God deliberately destroyed those things so you could have new things. And basically, what he was saying was the Lord may use a hurricane to destroy the raggedy home you have because he wants you to have a brand new house. He may destroy the car that you have because he wants you to have a brand new car. And that's what I'm meaning. That's what I was meaning when I was, when we go back to my other points that I made in the video in this lesson. you know, when things start to happen, when you start to lose things, the universe is preparing you to receive an abundance of things that are greater than the things that you had before. So that's really what he was saying. And I appreciate that. Even though I'm not a Christian anymore, I appreciate those things. Like I said, I'm not against any religions. I'm just not religious anymore. I feel like all religions have something to offer to the world. So I'm not against religions. I'm just not a religious person. I'm spiritual. Um, but yes, I do agree with that, what he said. And it pertains to this lesson. So yes, what would you wash away if you were water? I can't say that any simpler, any I just love saying that. I don't know why I just love repeating that prompt because I want you to really understand that. It's just as important as the other prompt. I will leave all the prompts in the description box. And but anyway, we don't know. Let's go back to that. We don't know who we are. We have a mask on. We haven't uncovered the shadow. So wash away, strip away, you know, the mask. Sorry, you guys, my eye is itching. Strip away the mask that you have put on and uncover the shadow that's under that. A lot of times we don't know who we are. We don't know what we really like, and that pertains to the lesson before this lesson. You know what I said about in mother rooms, how we don't know how to trust ourselves, and we don't know what we want. We can't think for ourselves. We don't know how to make decisions because of trauma and mother wounds and those sort of things. And that kind of like wounds us. We show up as our wounded self in life, and we don't show up as who we truly are. And like I said, that goes back to the God within. If we don't show up as we truly are, which is the gods that are within us, we don't know who we are, and we can't thrive in life, and we can't show up as our best self in life. And we, of course, won't be able to wash away our own problems or become the God to our problems if we don't know that we can do that. See how that is? So I want you all to focus on those lessons. And I am so glad that you all joined me. And I'm so glad that I was able to talk because I haven't been feeling well. But I feel so good today, and I feel a whole lot better. And I'm so glad I was able to do this a powerful lesson, this amazing lesson for this course. And you all were able to join me. And I love you all for watching this recording. And I'll see you in the next lesson. I love you. Bye. My riveting properties can restore.